Righto, so this one we're going to find who got the most runs in the series, and we want to sort them at the end from biggest to smallest. So what table or tables do we need? Just the batting, so everything's in this one. We don't need to do any joins because we're just using one table, so we don't have to say with this equals this and that type of rubbish. Okay, how are we going to group it?
Max.
Okay,
Max.
just picture you've got, you know that this table, you imagine you've got all of that for Barnes, okay? So we're going to group it by the player. Imagine I've got them as individual strips of paper. So I've printed out the spreadsheet and cut them all into little thin strips. You would grab all the Barnes ones together, and then what would you do with them? You would add these numbers, so the 62 and the 64 and whatever together. And that's exactly what we're doing. So if we group it by player, remember whatever you group it by has to be up in your select, or the little thing will have a little tantrum, and we don't want to do that. So it's a bit like saying I've got all the Barnes' pieces of paper together, or Bradman, or whoever. Once we've got those bits of paper, what do we want to do with them? Okay, if we go count the runs, let's have a look what that does. So what's 6 and 2 and 9? What's that mean?
The run scored. Oh wait, that's
not
runs the order they're in.
No. So why does Barnes get 6 and Barnett get 2?
That's how many values they have.
How many innings they play?
Lovely, yeah, both of you are right. So you'll see that Barnes batted 6 times. So remember, Barnett was there twice, Bedser was there 9, I think it said. Okay, so what does count do? Okay, this bit here counts the number of rows, okay? In this case, as Jovan said, it counts how many innings the people played. Okay, we don't really want to count how many times they batted. What do we want to do with the runs? We find the sum. Lovely. So sum is adding them together. So that will mean that 62 plus 64. So if we look at it now, we're getting much closer. So it looks like something realistically. Okay. The last bit of this is doing the sorting bit. How do you sort stuff in SQL? Order by. And which particular thing do we want to order it by? That thing there, okay? So you can either put all of that there, and we want it in descending order. So if we leave the descending bit, or the DESC off the end, it will put them from smallest to biggest. Okay.
Isn't some plus?
You can just put that as 2.
Okay, what else can we put here instead of sum of runs?
Plus.
No. So we'll have a quick squid at this. So we can see that Morris, so Arthur Morris, he was comfortably the leading run scorer. Compton was a Pommy bloke. Bradman was an Australian. So we can see that there's a couple of people who scored significantly. Okay, back to here. Yes, Joe? Yes, mate. Okay, instead of putting sum of runs, I can just put the number 2 descending. So what's the 2 represent?
The second.
Okay, it's the second thing in my select. So that 2 there means I want to group it by that bit there. Okay, I can then actually group it by the first one. So if there were 2 players who got exactly the same number of runs, it would then do what if I put a 1 there? So it would then do it by their player name, but it would do it alphabetically. So if there were, say, 5 players scored 20 runs in the series, okay, it would then put them from alphabetical order after that. Okay, so if we have a squiz now, there's our list of players. So I can't see, there we go. So there's a double up there. So 2 players scored 10 runs, but it would put Cranston above Emmett, because we also sorted the second row, so the first column. I doubt there would be any other double ups in there.